classic football whodunit. The game was awful. Who's responsible for it? Damien Hardwick and Ross Lyon agreed the game was no good, but neither were taking blame.
It's not a game that I love, to be honest. It was 125 uncontested marks going backwards, sideways. We couldn't find a way through. Credit where credit's due. They defended really well. It's a different defence than we've been up against before. We sort of knew it was coming, but just didn't handle it too well.
That's interesting. So they had 19 backwards kicks, we had 6. So I thought we went forward. Felt we took it on.
I still wouldn't like it if I was a Saints fan moving forward to say, where's it taking us? So we got the 4 points, but isn't it taking us further and advancing us?
That is a disgraceful way to play football, really. It was the old-fashioned flood. I don't know why you're both blaming Ross Lyon.
Pretty hard, you blokes.
And Matthew, look, you know how much I love your commentary, but I know St Kilda supporters who, after the last month, are so happy their team has won 2 games in a row, who are so happy they're at least going up to Brisbane for one last crack.
Because they love the club, Caro.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it as a neutral.
No, but you were saying, I think you were implying that St Kilda supporters themselves...
They won the game, but I'm not saying it'll take them that far forward with the way they style of football.
I think that they beat the Gold Coast, who I think is a team who should be playing finals this year. That was a great win.
That was the only way they could win, though, wasn't it? Well, they couldn't win any other way.
As I said, if you think you can only win that way, Hutchie...
but in that particular game...
Damien Hardwick was just as responsible, if you look at the numbers.
You're making it, to me, in a sense... I didn't even mention Ross Lyon's name. He's obviously the coach, but...
You're talking about St Kilda, and he's the coach.
In that situation. So
he's reshaped the team in his own image. He always does that.
You're getting very defensive in that situation of Ross, the person. I'm just talking St Kilda generally are not going to go that far playing this brand.
No, I just disagree, knowing St Kilda fans that they're happy that they won. They're not questioning where they're going.
I'll mention Ross's name as his coach because he's responsible for a team that averages 70 points for the year. This isn't just a one-off. This is against a Gold Coast team who usually does play attacking footy, and of course both teams are to blame. But I'm speaking of the perspective. This is a team that hosted an elimination final last year, and how far they have dropped. They've beaten one team inside the top 8. They averaged 70 points for the year. That yesterday, I called it an old-fashioned flood because every time I looked up and Gold Coast had the ball, their half forwards are so high up the ground they win the ball back, and we'll look at some of them. Hutchie, we have to speed this up 6 times. So tell me, if this is in the first 5 minutes of the game, is this a game plan that is going to stack up with Collingwood and Sydney and, to Lordo's point, get you where you're going to go, to the point where it's so slow and easy to defend? That's the reason they kicked 6 goals in a game if it wasn't for an iffy free kick. Fast play. You are out here. Wanganeen Miller is the player you want with the ball. He's out. But he has to go backwards. Wood looks up, he's got nothing to kick, so I'm going to go backwards. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to play slow. And this is the criticism that's been there, not just in this game. So this has been lost, and Ross gets around to the media, and the Saints do as well. So you read the Herald Sun and everyone is defensive of Ross Lyon, as I forecast.
What do you mean he gets around to the media?
That is so insulting.
What do you mean by that?
All I did was watch you guys on the Footy Show.
Caro,
and I remembered...
I didn't say you.
Okay, well, I said this 4 weeks ago. Tonight.
We all love Ross. We all love it. We don't even need to say it. He's so engaging and you want to talk footy with him. But I said this because he has so many mates in the media, no one will criticise him for a performance like that is very worthy of criticism. And they averaged 70 points for the year. They played finals last year. Everyone's thinking, OK, we're going to push and win a final, and they produced that. That's why there's criticism, and I think that criticism's fair.
I scoff at the media, mates. I just want you to have a look at what Damien Hardwick said back in 2020. Very similar after the just beating Sydney during the COVID era.
Oh, it was a horrendous game of football, there's no doubt about that. It was hard to watch, it was hard to play, it was just incredibly frustrating. And well, there's not much I can do. I'm sitting there, we're attacking, and we've got 75,000 people in our forward 50, so it's pretty hard.
So 2 key differences in 4 years. They actually narrowly won that game, but there was a brief falling out with John Longmire that was not good. This time, at least, Damien Hardwick did give credit to Ross's defensive tactics. But
he's worthy of criticism as well. And he spoke about the high uncontested marks. It was a low stoppage game, so they couldn't score.
Why aren't we all saying how disappointing with the Gold Coast, with that team, that they cannot win?
Can't argue with that. That was a complete judgment.
We are saying that.
They needed to find a way, and their record's 7-0 at home, and when you take out the gather round, 0-5 away, so that's starting to become a very alarming chasm.